Well, hello there, everybody. It is Friday. I hope you're having an excellent day. I am, and I trust you are as well. So, welcome. If you're here, then you are at the right place at the right time. So, welcome. Speaking favor into our lives, nothing missing, nothing broken. The more we speak that, the more reinforced it gets. It's like rebarb and concrete. Yeah. So, how is everybody as I look at myself over here on the other side? And it is looking good. Hey, Steiger, how you doing, buddy? Man, looking good. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hey, Lucky, how you doing? Let me just see how everybody is in the chat room. So good to see everyone. Thank you. So, Friday, we made it through another one, and man, it's just about as odd as you can get out there, no doubt about it. So as I'm looking over here and looking over there, I know that's not there, but I do know this is here. So that's all that counts. Thank you, moderators, and welcome all the rest of the folks in the chat room. Really appreciate. Hey, Mad Hatter, haven't seen you in a while, my friend. My goodness, man. Now it says going by Mr. Floyd. How you doing, DC? Mary Wynn, much love. Deborah Sloan, hello, new Jackie. Nothing missing, nothing broken. Divine Aphrodite, good to see you. 2010. Yeah, favor. Yeah, right back at you. Go, all the way from Croatia. Very consistently, as the good folks, CJ and Julianne down in the others and the other side of the world. Yeah, down under. But anyway, Gaia, how you doing? Good to see you. Marco Polo. Paul, how is Guy? How is Paul? That's what I meant to say there. John Price, good to see you. We got to do a Lucifer taco. I think that's a good idea. I really do. I like that. That's cool. Scott, what's up, buddy? MB, how are you? Good to see you. Bonnie, hello. So, humor, folks, laughter, it doeth the heart as a good medicine. That's all I got to tell you. It works. And you know, walk the talk. It works. So we're going to have fun today. Um, a subject that, you know, no matter how many ways you look at this thing, it the more you look at it, the more things open up, and you're going, well, now that's just damn weird. And it is weird because, hey, Nina, right back at you, darling. Saw you. So finally, I'm reading the chat room, and you try to do that and think at the same time. It's like chewing bubble gum and rubbing your belly. Um, so this thing about Lucifer, our world is hung up on mythological beings that I'm going to prove today never existed. And if they do exist, well, then this thing is more messed up than us humans could ever hope to fix it. Because if that's the case, that they do exist, they're the ones who messed it up. And how are we going to come in, and pick up the trash and make the place look presentable again? We don't know where everything goes. It's like, what do we do with this? Um, and here's a question hey, Lauren, good to see you. This to the group, and if you're listening, thank you. Thank you for hitting the like button and etc. And if you're prone to subscribe, do that. I don't promote that, but yeah, So here's the question, folks. Did any of the writers, and let's just use the biggest spell book that's out there, the Bible, and then let's get real specific. Let's get into New Testament ideology. So, did any of those writers actually see a Lucifer? Did they ever see a devil? How about this cat named Usus, uh, you know, uh, get in, whatever you want to get, Yeshua, Jesus. Did they ever see him? Hmm. We know Paul never did. Did Paul see the devil? He never saw Jesus. Did Paul see the Lucifer? And what about that Peter character? You see, the problem is it's been ingrained into us. It's a spell that we are supposed to accept the integrity of these writers that cannot be interrogated. There's no way to validate their integrity, no way to validate their character. And if it's true that the world is going to be conquered in the name of Jesus, how is that a friend? And today, where humans are concerned, we're fixated on Lucifer, we're fixated on Satan, we're fixated on the devil, we're fixating on Jesus, we're fixated on this one and that one. And the next thing you know, we're just doing round and round, doing the hokey pokey, put your right foot in, take the devil back out. I mean, it's however you want to look at it. It's a spell. So I want to start right off. Let's look at, I always laugh because I actually remember the Encyclopedia Britannica, but let's look at what Wikipedia has to say. It says that this article is about a mythological and religious figure. For other uses, see Lucifer, and you can go and check it out yourself. But let's get into this because this is interesting and it's been fact-checked pretty good. I mean, this is what Wikipedia does, right? Says the most common meaning for Lucifer in English is a name for the devil in Christian theology. Wait a minute. So we've got a religion who is manufacturing made up characters. And since they can't prove their religion, they can't even prove where it came from. So what they do is that they incorporate those things that will be to their advantage in validating their mythology. Now, I've covered this. I remember when Jeffrey Daugherty, listen to Daugherty, there we go, did our show on Sundays. And the fact of the matter is, this James character, this King James, man, that dude was fucked up in the head. Years and years ago, I did a show on the demonology of King James. The man was obsessed with ghosts, with demons. He was convinced that these invisible beings were attacking him, and that he was God's prodigy to bring forth the new message of enlightenment to the world. And so he reinvented a religion that had been around for nearly 1,200 years called Christianity, and hijacked it and basically recreated a new religion that today is perceived to be Christianity. Because Christians are not Catholics. Catholics are Christians, but Christians aren't Catholics. You see the duality already. So anyway, it goes on to say, and it appeared in the King James Version of the Bible in Isaiah. It's a fact. And before that, in the Vulgate, which is really the true Bible. This King James is a knockoff. They completely reinterpreted it. Remember, the Christianity today is a new religion, very new. It's younger than Islam. It's not as old as Catholicism, because Catholicism was the beginning. That's another show. All right, so it's a late 14th century translation of the Bible, not as the name of the devil, but as the Latin word Lucifer, uncapitalized, meaning the morning star, the planet Venus, or as an objective, light bringing. It is the translation of the Hebrew word Hayel, as the Latin name for the morning appearance of the planet Venus, it corresponds with the Greek names Photherus, light-bringer, and Esophorus, which is dawn-bringer. The entity's Latin name was subsequently absorbed into Christianity. Do you see what's happening here? No validation. You have religions stealing, acquiring, adapting, and then putting it all back and shaking it all up. And they say, see, this is our new, this has been around. We're just here as the messengers to tell you. Because that one's wrong. Ours is right. Your God is wrong. Our God is right. What? You want to argue that? Well, we'll cut your goddamn head off or burn you at the stake. Anyway, I digress. And as the name for the devil, small d. Do you see a lot of swapping going on here? I mean, this is like a teenager's prom dance. There's a lot of spit being shared back and forth because this is spit. Anyway, so we have there in the modern scholarship generally translates the term in the relevant Bible passage, Isaiah 14:12, in which we know Jerome was the son of a bitch that jacked it all up. Crazy guys. Did Jerome ever see the devil? Did he ever see Jesus? He never saw Jesus. Anyway, you got to watch out, people, when they start saying that they're messengers. Anyway, I digress. So in the Greek Septuagint, it is known as the morning star or the shining one, rather than the proper noun. So we're not even dealing with a proper noun, which is a person. It's all esoteric, doesn't it? All right. Lucifer, as found in the Latin Vulgate. The word Lucifer appears in the second epistle of Peter, 2 Peter 1:19. In the Latin Vulgate, it refers to Jesus. The word Lucifer is also used in the Latin version of the Excellent, the Easter proclamation. So we now get into this whole mix-up. And I'll finish out here. It says, as a name for the planet in its morning aspect, Lucifer, the light bringer, is a proper noun and is capitalized in English. In Greco-Roman civilization, it was often personified and considered a god. In some versions, considered a son of Aurora, the dawn. A similar name was used by the Roman poet Catullus for the planet in its evening aspects of the notifier, the night bringer. Okay. Totally like confused on this one. There I am. And again, I ask the question, did any of these writers see Lucifer? Did any of them see the devil? Did any of them see Satan? No. No evidence that they saw any of this. But they wrote about it as it being real. And us jackasses, us monkeys, we go, oh, yeah, they say that's what it is, and don't you argue with them. It's not even based on reality. But it's become our reality. That's fucked up, folks. I don't care how you look at it. You can do the Slice-O-Matic 4000, and it's still messed up. They don't exist. Never have existed. And when you find out that Jesus is Lucifer, as Lucifer is Jesus, what the hell's up with that? Something's messed up. James, Peter, Paul, Matthew, Luke, John. I mean, how far do you want to Mark? Of course, the Gospel of Mark was never written by anyone named Mark, but that's neither here nor there. They never saw Lucifer. I doubt if they ever saw Jesus, to be candid with you, because if they saw Jesus, then wait a minute, they saw Lucifer. Lucifer, the God of love. Lucifer, the God that cares for humanity. Lucifer, Jesus, the one who's coming to rescue humanity from this God of the Bible, apparently. I mean, as I said yesterday, the possibility that if there ever was a Lucifer, I seriously question that Lucifer would stick around. We know that Lilith, according to the story, her story, says that she kind of did the same thing. Now, somehow the energy is still here, but getting back to the hypothesis, see, if Lucifer was as smart as she was, which I believe she was, and by the way, they changed the divine feminine to the masculine in the word Lucifer. There's no feminine in Jesus. It's only the masculine. So if she was as smart as I believe she was, I mean, think about it. Lucifer, wisdom, walked in the firestones of the Godhead. Now, what I was taught on that, that's some pretty, man, I mean, that's some shit that's way up here. It's a life form we have no idea, but this being walked. No other being could. Well, if you stop and look at this from another perspective, then that would make that being as equal to that which it was walking amongst. Well, then that would mean that Lucifer's God. Now, this God that everyone says is God has made the proclamation he's going to murder. He's going to murder Lucifer. There's already a bounty out on Lucifer's head. He's proclaimed that at the end of this eternity, he will kill Lucifer. So that's messed up because Lucifer has never said he was going to kill or she was going to kill that God. And following the thought, well, if she's as smart, and what would she go and do? She would go out and create, but she went to a place no one knows about. And what we have here today is a sick representation of that which we have no knowledge of. Not even God. He can't find her. He's looking. He's searching the cosmos. He's looking for her because he wants to kill her. Why? Well, Mary may believe that she really has something on this God. I mean, that's the only reason why you would kill something, right? You're afraid of it. Afraid of what? It's going to expose you? I mean, you got a pretty good gig going on here. So, think about it. But let's just look at the here and now, because we got to deal with this shit here. I live in a place where it's fucking Jesus everywhere. And boy, you mentioned Lucifer, and oh man, they're going to put the stake and they're going to burn the cross on your yard and the whole bit. But if you tried to tell these fools that, hey, your whole thing that you're all about is that you're worshiping Lucifer. Oh no. Don't you dare say that. I worship the true God. I worship the true Lord. And by the blood of Jesus, I am saved. Okay. But your religion said, that Jesus is Lucifer. I didn't say it, they did. You blasphemer, may you burn in hell. Go to hell, you blasphemer. And that's, yeah. So now the supposed Jesus is now cursing me. I thought he was here to redeem me from the curse. I guess not. Um, Open minded. What a messy divorce. Isn't that they can't even figure out who gets the dog and the cats. I mean, it's messed up. Because everything I'm just saying is what the scholars, the theologians have to say. And if you look at it from their point of view, holy crap. Now, I did about 7 years ago, a series called the Bloodline Invader series. I was channeling a lot of information, and it's interesting because when I go back, and it's in the record now, it's out there. So we're going to do a little, reminiscing. So as we look in here, this is like a 400 slide series, but I want to get into the interesting part of this because there's real evidence that Christians worship Lucifer in the guise of Jesus. And the Catholic Church knows this. And King James couldn't handle that. When he found out that Lucifer was actually Jesus, as Jesus was Lucifer, so he gave it all to Bacon and said, you gotta do a play. You gotta make this come out. And Bacon did. So the light bearer is also associated with the dragon. Now, isn't that curious? The dragon represents majesty, royalty, one of the highest intelligent beings out there. But we're having a difficult time now because what was supposedly the fact was really based upon a thought form, an egregore, that they gave life to. And the problem was the egregore got confused as well. Am I Jesus or am I Lucifer? I'm so confused. They say that I was Lucifer, that I was before the Jesus. But now they're saying I'm against the Jesus, and the Jesus is against me. Okay. Clear as Mississippi mud. And then we got this thing. Comes around every freaking Easter. Now, Easter is really the pagan goddess Esther, who is the pagan god of prostitution. Well, get your rocks off, baby. So they say this prayer. And you can read the Latin. I'll read the English. It's flame a light, O Lucifer, the morning come, and he, I say, O Lucifer, who does not know the going down thereof. Christ, thy Son, who, returning from the grave, human race shed his peaceful light, and now lives and reigns forever. End. Amen. Now, again, look at what this is saying. It says that apparently Jesus is the son of Lucifer. It appears that Jesus was immortal and is now immortal. But the thing about it is, it doesn't say that he shed his blood, didn't say that he was murdered, didn't say that he was sacrificed. It said the human race shed his peaceful light. And then the key is the last stanza, and now lives and reigns forever. End. Well, now this is just really whacked out, because what's really being said here? Because if what's being said is in fact true, then this whole religion thing, this whole thing that's been built around it, our society, our culture, our, governments and everything else is nothing more than an illusion of a delusional species. You can't have it both ways. Now, I can assure you, if I was to go on to some conservative talk radio that was Christian based and bring this out to their audience, their brains would explode. I mean, this would just be, it would shatter their whole fucking psychic. It's flame alight, bright. O Lucifer, the morning come. And he, I say, O Lucifer, the he is talking about is Jesus. He says, O Lucifer, who does not know the going down thereof, means he's immortal. He's never tasted death, doesn't know what death is. In fact, by the story, you can say he's trying to rescue humanity from death. We should never have been exposed to death. Death was never in the equation. Death is a curse by this God. Not by Lucifer, by God of the Bible, the Father in heaven. Unless the Father in heaven is Lucifer. But we have two different versions of heaven because we really don't have the version of heaven that Lucifer has created. And it says right here that he's immortal. Christ thy Son. And this is a title, capitalized. Who returning from the grave, he died, was resurrected. Confused? And then in here, I get into great detail about the whole bright star thing. It's Hayel. And you can see exactly how this word from the Hebrew came into meaning. Lucifer, the morning star, Hala, means remote, far off. Chuel means to turn in a circle or circular dance. And the Chel means strength and power, a word which is not far removed in the sound from Gael or Abigail. The name may then signify the Father, the Son, or the Father is far off, or the Father is strong. The last is most probable. One Abigail was the wife of Rehoboam, but the name was also masculine. So, by the way, go back and look in the series of Bloodline Invaders, folks. Brought this out, like I said, 6-7 years ago. It is everywhere. And this is one of the most telling, statues, I don't know, artworks. It's one of the most bizarre things. And this is the actual ceremony. This is Catholic TV, where I got this from. His flame, Lucifer, donning his own creation. This is Catholics. This is Christianity. They are proclaiming that the world will not hear that this God of the Bible, the Father of heaven, is not the Hebrew God at all. This is an entirely different God, Lucifer. And it would appear that this God of the Bible, the Hebrew God, attacked Lucifer, and this is where the battle is coming into. This God polluted this creation. The Father in heaven, which appears to be Lucifer, is the one trying to redeem the human species. And when you see ritual, this is what ritual is. When you study books like the Goetia ritual, this is ritual. It's important. Every person here, every ornament, every vessel has a specific purpose and a reason for being there. But the vast majority of humanity is fucking ignorant of it. They don't give a damn. They don't care. And so we reap exactly what we've sown. What say you? I can't see the chat room, but make a comment. It's right there. And they all say, Amen. Rahman. Folks, this is extraordinary if you get down into the detail of it, because it really becomes even crazier when you're in the Vatican itself, and right here is Lucifer's star, where Peter is buried not too far from here. So they say. This is crazy. And when you begin to look at it, it's everyone. It is said that this is what the Masons, if you get to the 33rd, 35th, higher degree, this is what you are taught. There is no Jesus other than Lucifer, because there is no other God other than Lucifer. Not my writings, theirs. Everywhere. And when you see this, this is their depiction of Jesus, this sculpture. I don't know about you, but that just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Still does. And here you understand that all secret societies, they know this. But the masses are only allowed to believe what they have been taught. It says high-level initiates know the true doctrine of the high-level initiate is that Lucifer is God of the organization which they control. Now, this is interesting because now what's being controlled here? Well, you could boil it down to knowledge, occult knowledge, hidden knowledge. It says in 1964, the enthronement of the fallen archangel Lucifer, highest occult ceremony, was conducted simultaneously in the Vatican and the highest Freemason temple 13 blocks north of the White House in Washington, D.C., 1964. And what was so interesting about 1964? It was a year of chaos. Kennedy had just been murdered, sacrificed. And I contend, I don't know if this is the same Lucifer. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. The Freemasons have invited me into their temple. So, you gonna let that hippie in here? Hell no. But yeah. I mean, it's everywhere. Lucifer, Lucifer, Lucifer. And this is in the Pope's People Reception Hall. Lucifer is more represented in the Vatican than in any single place that I know of. So Peter is Jupiter? Not the Peter I was taught and read about. I mean, it's everywhere. And if you look at this, I won't go through all of this, but it is everywhere. There's the book, Demonology by King James. Crazy stuff. So, and then when you look at the People's Hall itself, I mean, that's just weird. In fact, let me try to pull that up so you can see exactly, because it's worth, excuse me, here we go. Yeah. So, let me get back over here. Hi, folks. How y'all doing? Good to see you. So, you know, when you get this kind of shit in the architecture that was deliberate, I mean, I feel like Olive Guthrie in Aunt Allison's restaurant. I mean, I'm sitting here on the Group W bench, because all I did was litter. But you got me with rapers, father rapers, mother rapers. I mean, it's crazy, crazy. I mean, and again, we get back into the whole thing. But I mean that the whole scenario messed up. Just messed up. And it shows like this, again, Jeffrey, he's done, I know, shows on that. I mean, there's been a number of other channels, Margot Official. I mean, there is just others who are trying to get this out. But this is so deeply ingrained into the collective consciousness that if true, wow. I mean, where do you go? I'm just reading some of the things. Hey, Robert V. So, I mean, again, did these writers of the Bible ever see Lucifer? Did they ever see Satan? Did they ever see a devil? I mean, did they ever see a Jesus? I mean, and again, and then you get into this trap. I mean, it's like, damn it, you're going, because if Jesus existed, well, Jesus was known in the church as Lucifer, and then Lucifer is Jesus. What do I say? In Lucifer's name, you be healed? Would I get the same results? I think you will. I think they're synonymous. So Joyce says, turn the page and there's more. Yeah, Johnny, you're right. Try Dr. Pepper. There we go. So crazy stuff, right? And then if you look at this, there is, in fact, a Luciferian Bible. Now, we've covered the Satanic Bible, a delightful read. I mean, listen, I can dig at how, LaVey got to where this was. I have no doubt that there was psychedelics used somewhere, but I thought this was this is the Book of Ceremonial Magic, which I thought was another book I just sent to an individual, but I'll be sending you the other one. But anyway, so this is an interpretation of the serpent before the curse. And again, it's not Lucifer who's doing the cursing. The only one of the written record that has cursed humanity is supposedly the God that created humanity. Well, that's messed up. You see, that is what confuses me about the human race. You see, I know what it is to be beaten. I know what it is to be where you live in fear. And I rejected trying to kiss the ass of the individual that was inflicting the curse. And I will never, never bow down or worship this son of a bitch that cursed my species by his own words. And then he's going to come and deliver me from his curse? Why, you son of a bitch, you're supposed to be the fucking smart one here. It tells me that you got your head up your ass so far that you're the imposter. Because you cannot show me anywhere where Lucifer ever cursed humanity. And that was not where I was wanting to go. Let me go over here. This is where I was wanting to go. But it was well worth the point. So we can't find Lucifer cursing humanity. We can't find him harming humanity. We can't find where he's ever told a human to sacrifice humans, animals, whatever. He's apparently really adverse to blood. And the problem we have today is that you've got these extremists coming in and now reinventing a new Christian religion called Satanism. Satanism is a Christian religion. And because Lucifer cannot be directly tied to Satan, because anyone does a preliminary study will find out very quickly they're not one and the same. So now you've got others who say, well, we don't like what the Satanists have done. So we're going to come in and we're going to form our other religion, the Luciferian religion. And then, of course, they've got to tie Lucifer in with something that's much older than the construct of Lucifer. And so Osiris would be the perfect one for that. And now I can begin to incorporate the old religion and bring it forth and reincarnate it into a modern day religion based upon the conflict of where it started. And so you've got these people that unfortunately have got it completely wrong. Lucifer is not dark. Lucifer is not this gory, the macabre and all the rest, the C.L. Lewis's and, who's the other cat with all the weird characters that he came up with. It's not Lucifer. I don't know what it is. It's a modern day interpretation because what they think they're doing is that they think they're being somehow shining the example of being opposite of what Jesus and his God is. But they don't understand Luciferian and Satanists alone. This is part of their lack of knowledge, their lack of understanding, is that when they're worshiping Lucifer, they're worshiping Jesus. Now, the Satanists will go, oh, shit, well, But the Satanists, you're in the same boat. You're still worshiping Jesus. So all the witches and everything else out there getting into the dark macabre, getting into the grimoires, and all the demons and all that, never realize they're still worshiping that Christian God. You want to know why it's messed up? It's messed up. And this one is, this is in my Kindle, so I don't have it in PDF. But I thought this was so bizarre because this is exactly my point. So, one must, in the presence of Lucifer, physically or call upon him by using the invocation of Lucifer in the front of a mirror with a black-lit candle. This is bullshit. I mean, it's not that the invocation will or will not work, but this is modern day Christianity. It's a part of the Christendom belief. I mean, you really think Lucifer, and they don't study, they don't realize what this character, if it exists, and its personification is. You really think Lucifer would do this? Do you think that he is, I mean, seriously. Many people have never been in the presence of royalty. But I thought it was interesting. I now call upon the King of Darkness. And if you think about this, we may have that kind of a story going for us already, even in the first 2 chapter verses of Genesis 1:1. It seems like all of these gods come from the dark realm. And we interpret the dark as spooky and what have you, when in fact it's the light that really becomes the problem. But anyway, it says, I now call upon the King of Darkness, help guide me in this journey and transformation of becoming one of your own. Folks, I'm sorry, I've not found where Lucifer in any ancient writing grimoire has ever said, you know what I want? I want a bunch of humans to start following me, and by the way, you've got to kiss my ass and worship me. No. If anything, if Lucifer is the antithesis of the Hebrew God, he wouldn't want worshipers at all. He'd be abhorrent to it. But it says, I stand before you to give you my mind, body, and spirit. What is he going to do with it? Do you really think a creature, a God, What does he want with your body, your spirit, or your mind? Compared to him, you're a pissant. Really? Lead me to a forever path of enlightenment. Well, the path of enlightenment forever is to question. Dedication and devotion to you, the Dark Lord. Cleanse my mind and body of any previous false indoctrination. The problem here is that ain't Lucifer's fault. He couldn't clean your mind if he wanted to. And the problem with this is that you've reduced your sovereignty. You're a God, and you're going to a Lord to somehow going to cleanse your mind. You're the one that put it there to begin with. How would he have that power? And if he could, what does that say? Come on, wake up. Says, I denounce the false God in heaven. Okay, which God is that? And all his angelic servants, and vow my forever binding soul loyal to you, the one true King. I mean, seriously? Let me be with your mind and share the same hellish blood as the demons and witches. I mean, this is modernism. I make this vow of my own free will, make me one of your own, O Osiris Luciferian. I know I'm probably pissing off people right and left, but that's okay. Folks, if there is a Lucifer, he wouldn't want gravelers. He wouldn't want weak-minded individuals who can't discipline their own mind, much less their own thoughts. You'd be no good to him. And he's not looking for a bunch of automatons. If he's looking or she's looking for anything. Lilith said quite literally, if you want to know her, just call her name. She got no problem with that. Visits me quite regularly. Found favor in her. I didn't do anything. Yeah, I did. I paid her respect. I showed her favor. So, deep stuff. And listen, if you want to worship these demons and angels and God and whatever, go ahead. But why? Why don't you become the sentient God that you are? Why don't you start learning to use your powers? Why don't you start exercising them? Why don't you start creating for yourself the next realm where you won't have to go back through this bullshit again? Because if Lucifer exists, he doesn't want a bunch of weak-minded wusses. And you know what? If you're off into sacrificing another animal, he doesn't want that. If Lucifer is anything, he is love. She is love. I can't find where he has ever commanded to harm. God of the Bible, Yahweh, Jehovah, the Elohim, however you want to call it, that one. How many bulls did Solomon sacrifice when the temple was built that the demons put together? They said the blood ran in the city for over 8 days. Lucifer's not into that. He's not in for you letting your own blood in some kind of ceremony. No. You're a spirit being. Start acting like one. You're encased in a body. So enjoy the ride. But man, if you're going to go before a God, you're going to have to be a God. That's how it works. All right. How's that for a opening, huh? Uh, Yoda says, don't be the doormat. Exactly. That is the point. You know, I was a CEO for a long, long time, number of companies. And when I would get invited to CEO events, they didn't invite a manager. They didn't invite a director. They didn't direct at the V level. It was a C level invitation. Why? Because if you're a CEO, you know how to act yourself and how to be a CEO. You know how to be around other CEOs. You have a commonality. You have a common title, office. Now, if you've never been around, whether they're on the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, or privately held, why? Well, we've been initiated. We know how to act. We know the protocols. I have no doubt that I will be involved in those high courts. No doubt about it at all. Because I have enough common sense to understand where I stand in that. I'm not going to be intimidated by it. There's different levels and different degrees within every office. Think about it. All right. That's all I can say. This has been a hard hitting because I no doubt knocked over a number of sacred cows. But folks, if you really want to become a witch, you really want to become a magi, if you've never been a high priest, how would you be allowed in the inner sanctum? How? You don't qualify. Think about it. Okay. Ah, how about some tea? Chris says just stand your ground. Yeah. So there we go. And I had a bunch of others. I mean, we'll get into, and remember, folks, they invented hell. It didn't exist until we came along. Think about it. And this is what starts killing this God. Slowly. Every time another person turns their back on him and begins to do the hard work, and it ain't easy. I don't care what indoctrination you've had, whether it is in the occult, paganism, Christianity, whatever, any of the religions. And you know why most people don't do it? They're afraid of being alone. They're afraid of being, what if I made a wrong choice? You made a choice. It's the experience. And it is a lonely place. You'll cry, at least I did. I was in a fetal position. But that was my graduation party. I survived it, regrouped, brushed off the dust on my knees, and got up and walked. And I've never stopped walking since. And many of you have joined me in that walk. Quite eccentric, thank you. But I'm happier, more content. When I was in that God spell, I can say this, it taught me to hate myself because I was never good enough. No matter what I did, it was never good enough. It always missed the mark. That's what they teach you. Because that's why you have to consistently repent of your sins. People become so sinful-minded, they don't know what righteousness is. They're just focusing on their sins. And the silly thing about it is, it's not a sin. If you create the illusion within yourself, then that's the sin. If you violate your own sense of being, but it's not a sin that is going to have a consequence. It's a sin that you just have to learn to get over. And it takes a while to learn to love yourself, to be able to look into the mirror and realize that I'm a spirit being. I'm a beautiful spirit being. I have a lot of spirits on the other side that are my friends, cheering me on, getting more every day. Because to take the position where I just stated publicly, very few people do that. And it's out there. I don't have a problem with it. As I've said before, if Lucifer exists, she'd be the one I'd love to do an interview with. What an interview. I mean, if you caught the Tucker Carlson's interviewing with Putin, what a brilliant mind that dude is. Putin. I mean, there's an individual who knows his place in history. So the thing I got from that was that this is an individual, much like the Sumerians and others, who knew that they would have that marker in history, as all of us do to, one degree or another. But in any case, yeah. So there we go. Bonnie said, if you only could see your spirit guides, yeah, they're there. They're there. So hopefully this has been good mind candy for you. It's very clear something is amiss here. I mean, something's really amiss. You just walk away from a rap session like this and you're going, there's something really messed up about this thing. Yeah, it is. It's messed up. I mean, Jesus is Lucifer. Lucifer is Jesus. Lucifer is not the Hebrew God that they, because the Christians, they don't know where their God came from. And you've got these competing egregores now. Which one is it? I mean, woo, it takes the occult knowledge to, begin to sit there and go, okay, this piece doesn't belong here. This piece belongs there. I got to find that piece because, yeah. But anyway, Laura says, nowadays, a lot of fellas want to be a miss. I don't know what that means. Rick says, I need a cigarette. Well, smoke them if you got them. That's what I say. JC, Lucifer is pure evil. God is both good and evil. I would get on God. Well, JC, that's your opinion. I happen to differ with you. And I just spent a whole hour validating my position, which would then invalidate your position, but it's your position. Well, I have no right to invalidate any position. That's called respect, my friend. You can say that, but just simply remember it's not fact. It's only fact in your head, not out here. Much love, favor be to you. I just happened to see that. Hey, Brandy, what's up? Good to see you. AK Morningstar. How interesting. That's what we've been speaking on it. So, yeah. Kip, you're right. Only the voice in your head is evil. That's just exactly right. So, that's how we look at it. And because I can tell you, Christianity has the blood of over 5 million innocent souls, children, babies, women. Lucifer doesn't. You can't show me anything where he burned any person to the stake or raped a woman to get a confession out of, or to behead a child. Fucking God over here did, though. Yeah. So anyway, there we go. Tame that voice. All right, so folks, have yourself a great weekend, and JC, I don't know who you are, but listen, you have to. I don't have. Listen, this is a format and a forum where all points of views and opinions, beliefs are accepted. There's no one that dominates the other. And if you can remember that and have that respect for everybody else, you'll fit in just good right here because that's how we roll here. And so, anyway, you see how deep it is? Norm girl, thank you. Thank you. Much peace to you as well. So, Nunu says, I'm a legend in my own mind. I think Carly Simon wrote a song like that. He's a legend in his own mind. There we go. Why not? Somebody else will. Hello, Letty Ailey. How are you doing? All right, Matthew, good to see you. Mary Wins, much love to you, darling. Tuman Metrics, well, thank you. It's fun talking. It's fun sharing. And again, I want to bring the documents, the papers, and what have you to back up and to validate what the point is. Just some strange stuff. All right, like I said, Gaia, right back at you, darling. God Avina, thank you. Everyone, have a really just, enjoy each moment. You are a god, a goddess. You are the one that has total control of your time, of what you're going to spend your time on. Even a person locked up in a box or a room can go out and play 18 rounds of golf in their head. In fact, there have been a few courses I can see myself walking. One was in Hawaii. Uh, every one of the holes. Nowadays, I spend my time conversing with thought beings that seem to say, hey, saw that light on. All right, everyone. Have a great one. Doug, right back at you. Goatees, yeah. Red honey. Yeah, even our archive's been infiltrated by the trolls. Sad, yeah. But you know what? They're getting a good lesson, aren't they? We just love them and just speak favor over them and say, go for it, man. If you're going to do it with excellence. That's it. All right, everyone. Join Nina on her show with Robert V on this Sunday night. Check that out as well. And hey, Flight Risk, I'll S. Lee as well. I'll see y'all back here on a Monday when it's supposed to be snowing. Right now, it's like 72.